Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nick, aka Servant Nick 41, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Nick.
So I pull out, and now I'm going around, and they're coming this way. I'm going around the building to the back, and I'm pulling down. Next thing you know, we're side by side, and I just look at him. I think I even flipped him off, man. And I'm out of here. Well, it's snowing. It's snowing, bro. So I'm on a high-speed chase at 15 miles an hour, right? In the snow. We're going up this hill super slow. We're going into the neighborhoods really slow. The trailer's kind of just zigzagging a little bit. My goal was, I knew this storage facility that I actually staged to steal stuff from at one point. And there was a whole big hole cut in the fence in the backside. And my buddy lived over there. So my goal was go into this neighborhood. I'm actually driving around my buddy's block right in front of his house multiple times. And I'm trying to get enough speed where I can jump this truck off this little 30-foot cliff into the storage facility, jump out the truck and get over there through the hole in the fence and get to my buddy's house. So I'm doing a loop, and I'm doing another loop, and I'm trying to get this trailer to fly off the truck because it was a small trailer hitch on a big ball, so it wasn't even sitting there correctly anyways. And I'm going, and I'm like, okay, here's my shot coming off. Here's my shot. I go, and I just land in mud. I'm like, no, so I jump out the truck, and I go over, I jump off the little cliff. I get away from them, actually, and I'm going around, I'm looking up, and now I'm going around. I go through the hole, and I come back up. Now I'm 40 feet away from them, walking right past them on their side because they're so focused on the truck and forward. I'm walking right past their side. And I get over to my buddy's front door, knock on the door, he doesn't answer. I jump the fence. I go around. I go to the back door, sliding glass door. I knock. He answers the door. And I'm like, man, the cops are after me. I need to come in. And I go in, and I go to his bathroom, and my brain is all over the place. I'm peeling my clothes off. I'm like, they got helicopters with that heat sensing stuff. And I'm trying to get the cold clothes off. And oh, man. So I call my family, and I'm like, man, they got me. They got me. For sure they got me. And I was like, and they're freaking out. And so they actually call my buddy on his phone. And they're like, listen, man, we know Nick's in your house. You're either going to send him outside your house or we're coming in your house. And he has guns and he's a felon. And so he's like, bro, you got to go. So, okay, boom. So I open up. I had, I think, 4 grams. And I open up and I eat 3 chunks, 3-gram chunks, just raw. And I take another gram chunk and I put it in my neck. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to go get in the back of the cop car and die any second. So I thought I had the victory, right? But even on my way out, I tell my buddy, I'm like, hey, bro, you got a gun? And he's like, what? And I'm only 160 pounds, super small at the time, sickly looking. And he's like 250 pounds, big dude. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, you got a gun? He opens the door, just pushes me out. Get out of here, dude. And shuts the door behind me. I'm like, dang it. So the cops got all their guns on me. And so they arrest me, obviously. I get in the back of the cop car, and they pull back up to the scene of the crime where the truck was. Like, man, what are you doing? And I'm laughing at him because in my head, I'm like, I got you. You guys think you got me, but I just got you. I'm about to die. Well, by the grace of God, I was saved, dude. I woke up 3 days later in a drunk tank. I only have one little memory of them coming in and putting that little thing on my finger to check my vitals.
So they brought you to the hospital?
No, they brought me straight to the jail. I ate 3 grams in my neck, and I lived. And I mean, there's no other explanation besides God. That is absolutely insane.
100%.
Yeah. So now
and they didn't mess with your boy either, right?
Wait, no, they didn't. Nothing. They didn't do nothing to him. They didn't even go inside his house. They just left him alone. They kept their promise.
So how much is your bond, and how much time are you looking at?
So this is the crazy part. So I had I think 19 felonies. I mean, unbond 100,000, over 100,000. It was a lot, dude. And so I had my old case. I had all these new charges. And I remember I was actually sign languaging my buddy who I'd known for years. He was in another cell across the tier. And I remember telling him, like, man, he's like, man, maybe you get 5 years, not that bad. I said, yeah. I said, man, yeah, probably 10 years isn't even that bad. I could do probably 10 at most. Well, my sister, I have 2 older sisters. One of my sisters is a Christian and my brother-in-law is a pastor. And they get a hold of me and start sharing Jesus with me immediately. I'm under the idea that Jesus is a magical genie and that you get 3 wishes, right? So I'm like, okay, it's perfect. So if I walk and I talk and I act a certain way, I'm going to ask God to get me out of this mess I created for myself, and he's going to save me from all this, and I'm not going to go to prison. And I'm like, this is cool. So here's Nick. Here's Nick reading the Bible, studying, praying, talking to my sister, all with this idea that I wasn't going to prison. So it was working though. It was working. I had this lawyer that was actually my hired attorney was actually a drug user, come to find out. Wasn't even showing up to my court dates. And when he was showing up, he had dirty fingernails, all zannied out, a wreck, dude. He was a wreck. But it's working. I signed these 2 deals, a 1 to 10 and a 1 to 5. They're supposed to run together. I signed for an eluding originally and a possession of stolen property. Then they had to come back. He came back and said, no, well, they want to be able to name all the victims of the stolen stuff. So I ended up signing a 1 to 10 for stolen property and a 1 to 5 for stolen property. They're going to run together. It was going to be a 1-year long-term drug program with that 1 year hanging over me. If I did the 1 year long-term drug treatment program, I was good.
So a 1 to 10, what is that? Like, so
So
they give you 1 to 10. Can you serve 10? They can make you do 10
yeah.
years?
So 10 would be the most. And well, okay. So most of the time, it's hard to get to that 10-year mark. I mean, you have to constantly be getting time taken from you. But there's like little sentence structures, like a 1 to 10 is anywhere in between a 1 to 10 to a 4 to 10. The 1 being the least, but it can carry up to a 4 to 10. And so when you sign this deal for a 1 to 10, you're hoping that they follow the recommendations of the 1 to 10. But since you signed on that sentence structure, they can give you up to a 4 to 10. And so 1 to 5 carries up to a 2 to 5. 10 to 25 carries up to an 8 to 20 carries up to a 10 to 25. It just depends. There's different sentence structures. So, but most of the time when you sign these deals, you're going to get around the recommendation of like the 1 to 10 and the 1 to 5. Then they can run concurrent or bow-legged. So mine were going to run concurrent, run together, and it was going to be 1 year because they overlapped with the drug treatment program. So I actually go into court and I tell the judge first my lawyer's like, man, there's these victims here and they want the best for you. They're Christians and they want you to go to a drug treatment program. This is great. They showed up on your behalf. I'm like, oh, dude, this is working. So the victim shows up, and I mean, I feel like an ass, man. Like, this was a dad, this was a father, this was a husband, and I actually just took a trailer from outside of his house, and it had a bunch of his tools. His career was in there. The way he fed his family, took care of his family, all that stuff was in this trailer that I just took. And thank God that I had almost all of it when I got caught, so we got it all back. He also had an insurance policy, but that doesn't take away the waking up and like, how am I going to feed my family right now? You just stole my whole livelihood. So the victim that I was told showed up wasn't the one that showed up. This guy showed up, and this guy gets on stand, and he was a 25-year Navy SEAL veteran. So he gets up on stand, and he's like, man, I'm a 25-year Navy SEAL veteran, and my judge was actually a veteran, and he's like, I think this guy needs to go to prison for the rest of his life. This is what he did to me. And so I feel bad, and I look back, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I was lost, and I pray that you can forgive me one day, and, I just feel really bad, but there's nothing I can really do to change it, but I am sorry. And I look at the judge, and the judge's like, all right, well, do you got anything to say for yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I know that Jesus has got me, and he's got this figured out, and I'm just going to trust in him. In my head, I'm getting a 1-year drug treatment program. So I'm like, of course, Jesus has got this figured out. Look at all these things that just fell in line. He's like, okay, that's cool. So he's like, well, you are a one-man crime spree, and I would be insane to let you back out on the streets. And he said, I'm actually gonna give you 3 to 10 and a 2 to 5 running bow-legged. So it actually ends up being a 5 to 15-year sentence structure.
Oh, man.
So I'm sick. And I get back to the cell. I'm sick. I'm like, what? And so I end up, in my mind, I just made the decision, either Jesus isn't real, and this was all fake, or he doesn't love me. But either way, whether he doesn't love me or is not real, I'm through with that. I'm done with that. I'm going to go back to taking my life into my own hands and doing whatever I want to do. And the crazy part is that I could have been out in 4 years, and I did 8.
If you were good.
Yeah, if I was good. If I did the right thing in there, I could have been out in 4 years.
So what is, when you go to prison, you're skinny, right? You're a small guy.
Yeah.
What is your experience like in there? Do you stick with the white guys? Like what is your first experience like when you walk in there?
So I'd actually in my life had friends that were skinheads, and kind of looked into that ideology very lightly in my past, and I've been around a lot of tattoo shops where that's what it was, and So, I mean, it was natural for me. My uncles were all in prison at one point, so it was natural for me to be like, yeah, obviously, I'm going to stick with the whites. I'm at one prison, and it's like I said, I put my middle finger up to the sky and said I'm going to do whatever I want. So I'm at the one prison, and I decided that I'm gonna get on top real quick. And so now I'm pushing the line every direction. Anytime there's white races involved, I'm there. It's me. Go talk to Nick. Go talk to Nick. Go talk to Nick. I thought my ego was getting so big so fast. I'm like, this is tight. So here I'm feeding this ego, and I'm actually at a lighter prison where the fish tank was. That's like reception. I could have actually maintained my status at a medium prison. I wouldn't have stayed at that prison because that's like they're moving everyone through there. But I would have gone to another medium prison. But we were jumping people. We were just battling in there. There was race riots about to crack. There was one point where this white guy had a cellie that was like in there for DUIs. This old man. I think he was in there for DUIs. He's really old though, and the cellie was 30 something, maybe at most, maybe 25 to 30. And he's drinking. We're all drinking. All the white boys are drinking on that tier that day. Someone comes over, because I was the guy everybody went to go talk to when things were happening. And someone's like, hey man, Gary's beating up on his cellie. I'm like, that old man? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to him after count. We had a lockdown for count. And I come back out after count. I go down there. I'm like, Gary, what are you doing, man?